Hello everyone, my name is Kieran. Welcome to the Manchester United versus Spurs match review. United make it 4 out of 4 on pre-season tour as they win 2-1 against Spurs in Shanghai. United will now fly to Oslo ahead of their game against Kristiansund in 5 days' time. So before we get into it, please leave a like on the stream if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're only 3 subscribers away from 720 subscribers on the channel. So anything you guys can do to help us out with that would be absolutely fantastic. And also let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below if you're watching this as a video. I want to hear who is your man of the match and just what are your thoughts generally on the game as well. But throughout this next kind of 25, half an hour period, we're going to be kind of looking back at the game, looking at some of the key moments, and just discussing anything that you guys want to discuss as we normally do on the channel. So thank you very much for tuning in today. Welcome to Ricky, the Football Hub, and Sickball. Thanks for joining. And welcome Mo. Thanks for joining. Really do appreciate it. Ricky says quality goal from Gomes. Really nicely taken goal. And we'll get onto that in just a second. Thanks for joining, Ricky. The Football Hub says, I did make you a thumbnail. I did see the thumbnail, mate. But I'd already had one planned. I already had to cut. Well, for my review, sorry, I don't really tend to do thumbnails like that, but definitely, for my previews and stuff, definitely, no, I want to have a thumbnail which I can kind of replicate for all my previews. But we'll see what happens with that. Welcome to Sickball as well. Thanks for joining, and thanks for support. Moses Kieran, 1K subs before the season starts, I believe. I mean, that would be absolutely incredible to get another kind of 300 subscribers in the next kind of 2 weeks. That'd be absolutely amazing. But if that could happen, that would be absolutely unreal. And if I know people that can make it happen, it is you guys. And welcome Yash. Thanks for joining, Yash. Really do appreciate it. As you can tell, I'm chewing gum, so I do apologise if you see it throughout the stream. But anyway, obviously United win 2-1 against Spurs. Goals from Anthony Martial in the first half, which was a little fortunate. I think Gazzaniga, the Spurs keeper, could have done a bit better with it. But it was a nice move and a nice pass from Andres Pereira. Kind of the skies look away pass from him. Martial finished really well into, well, not into the bottom corner. Kind of went through Gazzaniga, really. I felt for him. Obviously, Lloris isn't available for Spurs because, you know, I think he's back in Tottenham. I think he's injured or something like that. So Gazzaniga had to play this one, and it was unfortunate for him to concede that goal. But nevertheless, really good play from Manchester United. I thought the first half performance as well was really good. We created a lot of chances. You know, Daniel James looked lively. And I have to say this, in that first half, there were some spicy challenges going in. Yes, that is what you want to see on pre-season. You want to see, you know, a bit of intensity, but you don't want to see any players get injured. And I mean, Sissoko, that was a questionable stamp on Daniel James. I have to say, it was questionable to say the least. But obviously, he did end up getting a yellow card in the end. I thought some of our players were getting heated as well, which, you know, wasn't ideal. But it did add a bit to the intensity of the overall game, which is good to see from an entertainment point of view. In the second half, Spurs came out a lot better. Lucas Moura came on, who seems to be the bane of our lives. You know, scored 2 at Old Trafford. Really decent player. Got very lucky with the goal he scored. You know, deflected in to the back of the net off Luke Shaw, very unfortunately for him. But obviously we came back. Angel Gomes, who came on in the second half as well, took his goal fantastically well. Really good interplay with Juan Mata on the edge of the box. Really well weighted pass from Mata. Gomes did the rest. Fantastic to see yet another academy prospect score on pre-season, and really good for Gomes, and that was the winning goal in the end of the day. The second half performance from United it didn't seem as lively, but still really good. Yeah, I said stream not working, or is it just or is it just me having trouble? I do apologise if the stream's not working. I can check now. I can check now if it isn't working. Oh, it's saying it's working now. That's fair. Welcome, Joe. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. Welcome, Tech Man, as well. Thanks for joining. He said a very entertaining game. it was a very entertaining game. And obviously, it's from a neutral point of view but I think it was very, very, very entertaining. A lot of tasty tackles going in as well, which I'm sure you appreciated. So hopefully the last 2 games of pre-season can be, very, very similar to that as well. But as you can see on the right-hand side of the screen, I went with Anthony Martial as my man of the match. I thought in the first half, he took his goal really well, and I thought he had a really, really good game. And the first man of the match for Anthony Martial in this pre-season, but still one which I'm sure he'll be happy with, and it's good to hopefully it'll be a confidence booster for him, because a lot of us went into this Spurs game going, you know what, it's only pre-season, but still playing against a high-level Premier League opposition, we'll be able to tell some things about how some of these players are going to fare in the Premier League next year. And some players came out of it very, very well. Some players came out of it not so well, but still, it was good to see in the end. Riyad says, very interesting game after a long time. I was praying James wouldn't get injured the whole first half. Exactly. I mean, James, sorry. He did get involved in a lot of tackling. He got quite a harsh treatment from the Spurs backline that just tried to contain him as much as possible. They knew the threat that his pace was going to show on the wing, and they did a good job at nullifying it, in my opinion. But still, I think, James is going to have to watch out for that in the Premier League. There'll be a lot of sides that are going to chop him down in the league. When you're that small and that agile, he's going to draw a lot of fouls for us, which is going to be really, really good, especially when we're kind of trying to hold out a lead. But at the same time, you don't want him to get injured, because he does look a talent. Tech says, good finish from a man like Gomes. Totally agree. And he also says, Hudson-Odoi over Gomes. Well, there you go. I was going to say Hudson-Odoi. I think Hudson-Odoi is decent, and to be fair, he's had more Premier League minutes. He does look good. He looked very, very good in the England under-21s. But really, we have to see Gomes in the Premier League first before I can really make a judgment out of who's the better. But as of yet, I think probably you'd have to say Callum Hudson-Odoi, just because he's playing at an international level. He's played more senior games for Chelsea than Gomes. But this season, who knows? If he gets a few minutes, we might be able to really, see and compare the two. Mo says, our midfield in the second half was really poor. Savage or Longstaff is really needed to come in if we want to dictate games against bigger teams. Fernandes is apparently a no-go for United. I did see that transfer rumour, and it was a bit deflating to see that it looked like Man United were no longer interested in signing Bruno Fernandes. So it does look like Milinkovic-Savic or Sean Longstaff are going to be the two that we're looking at. I think most of the Man United fan base would rather Milinkovic-Savic, even though he's probably going to cost around £75 million. But he looks a good midfield option, and I do agree with you, Mo. Our midfield in the second half was poor. And I think without Pogba in that midfield, it doesn't look good whatsoever for us. So we need to do something about that in the transfer market. We've got about 2 weeks left to deal with it. So I'm hoping some moves can be made in the transfer market in the coming days. I mean, I'm still holding out hope. That we can bring in someone like a Harry Maguire at the back, because for me, defensively in that second half, especially when Eric Bailly went off, we didn't look great whatsoever, and that is something that does worry me. Defensively, if you're not good in the Premier League, you will get preyed on and you will get taken advantage of. So if we don't bring in a centre-back, we do look very, very light at the back indeed. Yash says he seems to have a better ball control. I love players with close control. I don't say Hudson is bad, but Angel has better technique and control. Maybe. I mean, they're both they're both decent at dribbling. But as I said, we haven't really seen, we can't really make a proper side-by-side comparison until we see them in the Premier League. I mean, imagine if they both play against each other on the first day of the season. That would be mental. But that would be a really cool comparison to make. But yeah, obviously I went with Anthony Martial as my man of the match. I gave him an 8 rating out of 10, which is still very, very good, don't get me wrong. But it's not the kind of 8.59 ratings that I've been giving players recently on pre-season. I thought Anthony Martial's first half, he made a lot of good runs forward. He did a very good link-up play. And hopefully next season we can see more of that sort of side of Anthony Martial as well. The one thing I would say with Martial, is probably just try and get him behind a bit more. We know he's got pace. We know he's got that finishing quality. I think if he just gets him behind a bit more, he will really cause defenders problems. And if he got him behind a bit more and, did that, I think his rating would have been boosted up to maybe a 9. But he just doesn't get in behind enough, and we know he's got the quality to do that sort of thing. So hopefully we see more of that in the new season. But I thought he had a decent game in that first half. And yes, he only played 45 minutes, but I thought he was probably one of the best players on the pitch today. Patrick, one between, thanks for joining. He said he's at work, couldn't see the match. Were we any good? I see we won. I thought we played alright, especially in the first half. Second half we got a bit more sloppy, but towards the end of the second half, I think our kind of stamina and our fitness showed through, and Spurs looked very, very tired. They looked out on their feet towards the end of that game. So our fitness seems to be paying off, but in that first half especially, we played really, really good football. But it was a very, very fiery affair, Patrick, so you'll have to watch the highlights when you get home. Yash says, Odoi is good, and Man United side of me still feels Gomez will be better. But yeah, I haven't seen them both a lot, so it's just my guess. Well, exactly. I mean, it's only really guesswork at the moment. We can't really, say for certain who's going to be better. So, no, I totally agree with you. And Yash says, I felt Pereira had a good game. His field coverage was good. His passing could be better other than the assist. Well, I thought Pereira had a decent game as well. He was one of the people that was getting a bit, frisky with some of the Spurs players. Or, there's definitely a better word for frisky than that. But he was getting a bit fiery. He was having a few words with Dele Alli and things like that. But I thought he had a decent game. I thought he did look lively in that midfield. And he was someone who is in contention for that final centre midfield role, because I feel like Solskjaer's going to go with McTominay and Pogba as 2 midfielders, and there's going to be a third central midfield role in there for someone. Now, I feel the battle for that is going to be between the 2 Brazilians, Fred and Pereira. And it's going to be an interesting one to see who comes out on top on that. I think Fred had an alright game today. He tried his best. He did make some good tackles, but his passing quality definitely needs to improve. And just Pereira, I thought, had a decent game, as you said. So I feel like at the moment, probably Pereira is leading the race to become that. So become that third central midfield player. Of course, I still think we do need to bring somebody in, like a Milinkovic-Savic, to partner Pogba, and then, McTominay or Fred or Pereira can go in there. I still think we need to bring someone in, but if we don't bring anyone in, I think it's going to be between those 2 players to see who gets the role. But let me know your thoughts on that. Who do you think is going to get that third centre mid spot if we don't bring anyone else in? Would it be Pereira or would it be Fred? Who would you give it to? Let me know your thoughts in the live chat. Yash says he worries for Fred. He can be a damage waiting to happen during our season. Well, I think, we did see what happened last season. I think, we unfortunately did give the ball away quite a few times. And it didn't seem like a good time for Fred. Hold on, no. It didn't seem like a good time for Fred last season. He had some good games, he had some bad games, but, most of all, I think his season was probably about a 5 out of 10, just average, really. He didn't really, come out and impress the fan base. He didn't come out and really stamp his authority all over that £50 million price tag. So hopefully this season we can see a better side of Fred. And if not, I do fear for him, as you say, Yash. I do fear that Fred won't have enough and he'll be going out the door next summer. And yet another failed transfer would be something that I don't want to see. Xmas 2019, thanks for joining. Really appreciate it. He says he likes Fred. Well, there you go. One person says worried for Fred. Xmas says he likes Fred. I think Fred's an alright player. I think, one thing that does worry me slightly about Fred is that he can be prone to giving the ball away in midfield, or, taking a bit long on the ball. And yes, he's obviously trying to move things forward, which is definitely better than someone like Nemanja Matic, who, doesn't know his left from his right and just doesn't want to move the ball forward. But still, Fred just sometimes, holds on to the ball for too long and gives it away. And once your midfielder gives the ball away, it puts you under pressure so quickly. And it's really, really hard to recover from that. So, again, it's a way up for Solskjaer, I think. It really is a way up. So, I feel like another central midfielder to come in. As we've mentioned before, the Bruno Fernandes deal seems like it's falling through, so I'm not sure if that's going to happen. But someone like a Milinkovic-Savic to come in there would be a really, really good signing, in my opinion. Tech thinks Milinkovic-Savic is a human wardrobe. Well, there you go. He is quite stocky, I've got to say. He is quite kind of tall, and I mean, he has good qualities, but of course, like most players, they're going to have weaknesses. And as I said, he's someone who does like to get box to box. He's not the quickest of midfielders, but he's a darn sight quicker than Matic, and that's all that matters. Yash says I like him, but he gives the feeling that a red card is waiting with his tackles. Hope Martial can be consistent this season. He can be the real deal. One last season we can give him, hit or miss this season. Well, I agree with you that Fred can be a liability at times, and it's good that he's tenacious in the tackle. It's good that he tries to win the ball back, high up the pitch. But I think sometimes you just need a midfielder to calm down. Yes, press, but you need to kind of find a fine line between kind of stupidity and making tackles that he doesn't need to make, and just making cute little tackles and taking the ball off people and moving on. But of course, it's good that he is very, very tenacious. Mo says he's an upgrade to most players in our midfield. Will be a well-spent 70 million. I think he would be. I think he definitely would be an upgrade on most of the players in our midfield. Probably bar Pogba, although Pogba, I mean, the Pogba we've seen in pre-season looks very, very good indeed. I mean, he nearly scored an absolute worldie today, just went past the post. But if he can continue that form into the new season, we could have one hell of a midfielder on our hands. And also Milinkovic-Savic in there with him. I think that'd be a really, really nice combination of players. But we'll see what happens with that. There has been a lot of rumours surrounding Milinkovic-Savic, but since the Bruno Fernandes stuff came out, it kind of died down. Now the Bruno Fernandes stuff is dying down. Maybe we might see a role reversal. But I think if we are going to make transfer moves, we're going to have to make them very, very soon indeed, because we're running out of time in this transfer window, and with every passing day, we are running out of time in this transfer window. So we've got to do something fast. We've got to do something quickly. And if we don't, we could be stranded. And yeah, with the squad we've currently got, I think realistically, probably the best we can hope for maybe is that 4th spot. And I think if we did achieve 4th with the team we had, I think that'd be a good achievement. But I think if we do have the squad we've currently got, we could probably, wish for and hope for 4th. But I still think we're short of a few players. And unfortunately, realistically, I only really see one player, one more player realistically coming through the doors at Manchester United. And I see that being a centre-back. Which for me, I wouldn't mind, because I do think the centre-back role is the role that we need to fill the most. But at the same time, we need to bring in another centre midfielder as well. Our midfield just isn't strong enough. In reality, so that's where we're at the moment, and we can't really do much about it. That's where we are, and we just have to get on with it. Xmas says we need a centre back, CDM, and a right winger. I totally agree with you, but unfortunately, I don't think we're going to get anywhere near that in this transfer window. As I said, I feel like we might bring in one more player. I think the board might be able just to cull together to bring in one more player this transfer window. Who knows who that's going to be, whether that'll be, Harry Maguire or somebody else in that centre-back role. I don't know who it's going to be, but whoever it is, better hit the ground running. Mo says, why not give Greenwood the right wing position? That's true. I mean, he has impressed on pre-season, Greenwood. He looks really, really good. I feel like Solskjaer, if he is going to, if Solskjaer is going to, play Greenwood, I feel like Greenwood's going to be more of an impact substitution. And I think actually on tour, from what we've seen of Greenwood, that might not be the worst of options. He's come on, he's been really lively, he's good at running at the kind of really kind of fitness-drained legs of the defenders. So I think Greenwood coming on as an impact sub would not be a bad idea at all. Patrick says, hope Kieran doesn't mind the shameless plugging. Yeah, not at all, mate, not at all. Please do, if you have a channel, please do feel free to promote it on the live stream. we're all trying to grow and everything like that, and I'm happy to, shout you out if you want. And if you do want to check out 20 Sports, really, really good stuff, make sure you do check it out. Really, really good channel. Yeah, he's obviously there in the live chat if you want to check it out. Really, really good stuff. So make sure you do. It's 20 Sports in the live chat right there. So yeah, I mean, you show me support, so I'll show you support. That's how it works on the channel. But let me know, guys, who was your man of the match in this game? Who did you pick out of all the players that played today? Who do you think did the best? And any players you thought, could have done a lot better? I mean, the one negative I'd take out of this game is Eric Bailly, who I feel really sorry for him. He keeps getting injured, and he just seems to be made out of breadsticks. It's just really, it's frustrating for a United fan to see, and I'm sure he's really frustrated as well, because he's someone who, if we didn't bring in a centre-back, he would probably be our starting centre-back next to Victor Lindelof. And it's so frustrating to see Eric Bailly go off. Hopefully it's nothing too serious, and hopefully the stretcher was just a bit of a precaution, because I love Eric Bailly. I feel like he can be a really, really good centre-back for us, but if this is another long-term injury for him, it's going to be really, really annoying. And, I feel really bad for him, but I feel like that's probably the only negative we can take from this game. Other than that, in the second half, I thought the defence was a bit shaky, I have to say. And, of course, I think that will only get better with spending in the market on a potential new centre-back, a leader in that back four, just bring everything together, really. I thought Tuanzebe didn't do too badly when he came on. But I think Lindelof was probably the best defender out of the defenders we saw. Tuanzebe was alright. Chris Smalling, I thought, actually didn't have a bad game. He seemed to contain Harry Kane really, really well. So, a few players in there could be good. Football Crew Show on the stream, thanks for joining. Make sure you check out his channel. Really, really good stuff on there. He says, happy with the result today. Nice to see youngsters perform well in pre-season games. I cannot see United board giving Ole the transfer money to get that one last player in the market. United business is done. There you go. A damning statement from the Football Crew Show. And I think you could be right. I feel like there might be one more transfer to come through the door. But other than that, I don't see anyone else. Mo says Martial man of the match, Scott McSaughton and Wan-Bissaka in a close second. I thought McTominay played well. I thought he did play well. And Wan-Bissaka just having a wonderful pre-season, seems to be putting in man of the match type performances every single game, which we want to see from the £50 million man. So yeah, I would concur, Mo. Xmas goes with Martial as man of the match. And Ricky says he agrees. Patrick says, how was James overall today? Well, you guys can answer that as well in the live chat. I thought Daniel James wasn't too bad. He looked lively in that first half. He was trying to create some chances. He got a lot of tap from the Spurs backline. At one point, he was trodden on. He had a few kind of niggly fouls in there from some of the Spurs players. But that's what he has to come to expect. Being such a quick player, someone with such a low centre of gravity, he's just really, really good at kind of, getting in there, drawing the foul. And that's what he's going to have to expect next season in the Premier League against fullbacks. And, it'll be good for us going forward if he is able to win fouls for us up the pitch. And, we can slow down the games where we do need to just hold on to a win. So that's obviously a good trait he has, but he did showcase his pace today. Nearly got an assist for a goal if Martial didn't hit the post. But I thought he looked alright today. I thought he did alright today. Probably out of 10, I'd probably give him about a 6.5, 7 rating for Daniel James. He did alright. Probably wasn't the best player on the pitch, but he did a decent job in there. And hopefully in the last 2 preseason games, he continue to put up his fitness and also put in some decent performances as well. And bring up his confidence, because I know that a confident player is going to be a player that's going to be really hard to handle. Football Crew says Ashley Young is captain today, but I would have given it to De Gea. Ashley Young, of course, captain. A lot of people not liking that decision. Hopefully he's not captain at the start of the Premier League season, but we'll see what happens with that as well. I feel like Solskjaer does seem to trust Ashley Young, and we can see that by the way he gives him the captain's armband. So, I think that's probably what we're going to have to get used to. Xmas says we should sell Lingard and use the money to buy some ice creams for the fans. Exactly, mate. Maybe that's the right thing. Maybe that's what we should do. I can see my face is breaking up a bit. I do apologise if it is lagging slightly. But yeah, maybe that's the right thing. Maybe that is the right thing. But yeah, I mean, Lingard today, I didn't think he had the worst of games. I didn't think he had the best of games. But his pre-season hasn't been brilliant, I have to say. It hasn't really been that great. So, what can you do about it, really? I'm not sure if he's going to... Hopefully he comes good in the new season. But I think he would recognise himself that the pre-season he's having isn't the best he's ever had anyway. Patrick said, I think Ashley might have some weird clause in his contract. Maybe. You could be right there. You could be right. I haven't actually seen his contract, but if he does, that would be very interesting indeed. But guys, I think we've talked enough about the game. I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate your support, as always. Thank you very much for watching. Please leave a like if you haven't already as well. That'd be absolutely fantastic. Can we get to 10 likes on this video? That'd be brilliant. If you're watching this as a video, thank you very much for getting this far. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. We're only 3 subscribers away from 720 subscribers on the channel. Thank you so much for support. Really appreciate it. United make it 4 out of 4 in pre-season. We go to Oslo to play Kristiansund. Hopefully we make it 5 out of 5 in Solskjaer's hometown. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.